There are some questions that you should be asking if you're thinking about getting into the real estate market. If you're thinking about buying or selling, there are some things that you should be asking because there are a plethora, a cornucopia, a potpourri of realtors and companies for you to choose from. And I never want to make the assumption that we have your business, but instead, I want to give you questions, and these aren't leading questions one way or the other, but I want to give you some questions that you should be asking your potential realtor. The first, and I think the most important, is please share with me some references that you have. We've all heard those horror stories, haven't we? Right? Like those, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened in your real estate world. Now, sometimes if you're a seller, sometimes it's the buyer, sometimes it's the other realtor, sometimes it's the market. But most stories revolve around my terrible realtor. And deservingly so sometimes. We're a business that's always trying to do better, and whether it be our company or others, we don't always hit the mark. We strive to, but we don't always hit the mark. And so the question you should first be asking is, what are some references, some people that I can talk to? But think about this, right? If you're going to give some job references, if I'm applying for a job, if I'm applying at KFGO to be the new weatherman, sorry, Too Tall Tom Szymanski, I'm coming in. If I'm applying for a job, I'm going to give you references of people that love me, right? I'm gonna say, here's my aunt who thinks I'm very wonderful, and here's my best friend, and here's my favorite coworker who had no idea how bad I really was at my last job, right? The references that you give are bias at best, right? But the other step of that is online. And online is an interesting place because you get a blend of honesty. Sometimes you get some trolls out there, some people who are just loving to throw dirt. But for the most part, you're going to get the most accurate description. Think about this, right? If you travel, let's say you decide to go to San Diego and you've never been to San Diego before, at least my generation, what we do is we get on our phones and we go to Yelp. Yelp is a way to see reviews of places. If you want to find a great restaurant in your neighborhood, you traditionally are asking the concierge. Word of mouth is huge, or you're going to a place like Yelp to find out online reviews. It's the same thing in real estate nowadays. Is we have, I think, 3 major platforms that play a part to get the actual honest to goodness reference checks if you're thinking about hiring a realtor or a real estate company. The first is Zillow. Zillow is a dominant force in the real estate market, and so you can go and check on online reviews on Zillow. Every realtor is basically on Zillow, and you can find out what their consumers are saying about them, the good, the bad, and everything in between. Anybody can go on Zillow if they've worked with a realtor and give a review. So that's how you know it's honest. Same with these other platforms. The second is Google. Google is a place, again, where you can have the honest conversations. And the third is Facebook. There are some other platforms as well. Yelp plays a small bit of amount in the Red River Valley. But for the most part, the review of somebody is really important. And so the first question you need to ask when hiring a realtor is, what are your references? What are your reviews? And so do your research. Don't just take your cousin who's a realtor, because we get a lot of calls from the people who said, I hired my cousin and I've had a pretty bad experience. And so can you help me out? The second question you need to be asking when hiring a realtor is this, are you full-time or are you part-time? There's over 800 realtors in our area, and here is a bias. I'm ready to throw my cards out. As somebody who used to be a part-time realtor, I think you deserve more. I'll leave it as blunt as that, as I think you deserve more when hiring a professional to handle traditionally your largest financial investment of your life. To get your real estate license in the state of North Dakota is a low bar for entry. You have to pass a test, which is a difficult test. But if you want to be a nail technician, meaning if you want to do manicures, pedicures, and those sorts of things, you do 600 hours of classroom and continuing education. If you want to be a realtor in the state of North Dakota, you go to a class for 45 hours and take a couple of tests. There's 15 hours of continuing education every year, but the barrier for entry is a broken one as far as I'm concerned. And so if you're going to be hiring a realtor, please make sure that you're asking if they are full-time or if they're part-time. The third question then, of course, is how many homes have you sold? Because there are full-time realtors who are selling a small amount of homes, and there are full-time realtors who are selling a large amount of homes. There are pluses and minuses to both. If you're hiring somebody who sells 10 homes a year, which is about the average, I think that 10 homes a year is enough for that person to skate by. But my fear is that they really, really need a paycheck. Unless they're lucky enough to have a spouse or a trust fund or something that keeps them afloat, your transaction is reliant on a paycheck. Now, they may work harder, which is a great thing, or they may be desperate to get the deal done, which is not a good thing for you, because they should always be looking out for your best interest. Now, if you're working with a full-time realtor who does a large amount of business, it's imperative that you find out if they actually have the right amount of leverage around them. If the average realtor sells 10 homes in a year, if a realtor is selling 80 homes in a year, but they don't have a team, they don't have administrative support, and they don't have somebody taking some of that stress off their life, you may get the most experienced agent in the area, but you may get the one who doesn't have all the time to balance the different jobs and hats that a realtor wears. Now, go to our website at livefargomoorhead.com because we actually have an entire list of questions you should be asking when hiring a realtor. We hope that's a resource for you, and we hope that it's a way for you to protect your interests so that you make sure that you're set up for a win as the time comes. Now, folks, we're going to go to the break right now. Again, go to livefargomoorhead.com for everything you need to know, and we'll be back in just a minute. This is Real Estate Radio with Erik Hatch.